Hi, welcome once again to our YouTube channel. Thanks for subscribing to our channel. Really appreciate you. Thanks for coming along with us all the way. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you. Today we quickly want to look at the NECO 2024 Animal Husbandry Practical Specimen. That is what we want to discuss today. We'll quickly look at the specimen. We take a rundown on all of the specimens. We analyze them, talk about a few things about them in order to prepare us for the practical examination. That is basically what we want to do today. So without wasting much of our time, we will go straight ahead by listing all the specimens now that have been given. So listing the specimens that have been released by NECO now, we have our specimen A. Specimen A happen to be the poultry egg. Poultry egg. And we have our specimen B. The specimen B is fresh milk. Fresh milk. We have specimen C to be tail of cattle. Tail of cattle. And our specimen D, we have it to be the elephant grass. Our specimen E is feeding trough. Feeding trough. And we have our specimen F. Our specimen F happen to be coconut meal. Coconut meal. We have our specimen G to be liver fluke. Liver fluke. And we have our specimen H, which is the last specimen, to be tapeworm. So these are the specimens that were released by NECO, the exam body, for this year's practical examination. So we'll be talking about all of these specimens one after the other, analyzing them and getting us familiar with them. So without wasting much of our time, we go straight into taking the first specimen. That is the specimen A. Specimen A. And our specimen A, like it was listed, we said it is the poultry egg. Poultry egg. So that is our first specimen. That is what we'll be talking about. So when we talk about poultry egg, what do we actually mean? Poultry egg is a particular type of egg that is gotten from the poultry beds, particularly from the fowls. That is what poultry eggs are. So they are gotten from the fowls. So what are those things that we want to say about the poultry egg? Number one, the poultry egg has a cancerous nature which gives or provides mechanical protection to the content. The egg has an outer coating, we call it the shell. It has this shell which is very strong, and it gives or provides mechanical protection to the content of the shell, or content of the egg rather. Inside the egg we have so many materials like the vitelline, we have the yolk, we have the albumin, we have the air sac. All of these are components of the egg. So they are being shielded by what we refer to as the shell. So that is where we are picking it up from. Eggshell, which has calcareous nature. And helps to provide mechanical support to the components of the egg, of the shell, to the components of the egg. So that is one thing that the shell is responsible for. It is also responsible, okay, it also makes it possible for gaseous exchange to be carried out between the egg and the surrounding. So the shell also is porous, permitting gaseous exchange between the egg and its surrounding or environment. That is another function of the egg. Thirdly, okay, I've said that earlier on, that it houses or contains the embryo. The shell also houses or contains the embryo. The embryo is that yolk that we have inside the shell, and then it has some albumin around it. Now, the shell of the egg can come in different colors. It could come in color of white, and it could also be in brown. The eggshell can come as white or as brown. Color of eggshell can be white or brown. Either of these two can be the color of the eggshell. Now, moving forward, the albumin, because it has the liquid components, which are majorly two. It has a clear portion, and that is the albumin. The albumin is a clear liquid that turns white. The albumin is the clear liquid that turns white on exposure to heat. On exposure to heat, while the yolk turns yellow. Yes, when the egg is applied, when heat is applied to the egg, you notice that the albumin turns white and the yolk itself turns yellow. So that is basically what the content of it is. Now, it is very rich. This particular substance is very rich in protein. Overall, it is rich in protein. It contains water and protein serving as nutrients. Now, the yolk contains high amount of carbohydrates, and it generates energy for the embryo. Okay, let me put it this way. The egg is rich in protein and other vitamins, like we have vitamin A, D, E, K, vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin D, vitamin K. We also have some others like the vitamin B1, we have B2, B5, and so on. These are some nutrients that we have inside the body of the organism. We also have inside it the yolk. The yolk contains carbohydrates. The yolk contains carbohydrates and genetic materials. So it also helps to generate, it generates energy for the embryo. It generates energy for the embryo. So these are some of the things that we need to know about this particular substance. Now, the color of the yolk will deepen, it will become deeper when heat is applied to it. Now, coming to the bird that lays it, we are talking about poultry eggs, so we are talking about the normal fowls. So fowls or organisms that lay eggs, they are called oviparous organisms. So the fowls are oviparous because they lay eggs. So they are oviparous organisms. And then we have so many types of birds, we have so many types of fowls, but the particular ones that lay eggs, particularly in poultries, we have them called the layers. Layers, we have more than two, but let me just make mention of two. We have the layers, we have the broilers. The layers are specifically bred for laying eggs, while the broilers are bred for their meat. Let me put that here. Types of poultry beds. We have the first one, layers. They lay eggs. While the second one, which are the broilers, are reared for meat. The broilers are reared for meat. Now, if you look at well, I've talked about the color. So if you look at the incubation period of this particular organism, the incubation period of this particular organism, incubation and gestation together, we are having a period of 21 days. Incubation in poultry beds, we have it to be approximately 21 days. So that is about the eggs that we want to talk about. Let us see picture that can help us understand what you are saying. This is an egg. This is how the egg looks, the poultry egg. This is how it looks. We can see them here. Now I said we have different colors. You can see brown, we can see white here now. So that is how the color of the poultry bed look. So without wasting much of our time, we move straight to the next specimen, which is specimen B. Fresh milk. That is what we have for our specimen B. So looking at specimen B now, what we will be talking about, fresh milk, also called raw milk, is a dairy product from farm animals. Is a dairy product from farm animals. Animals like cattle. We have cattle. We have pig. We have sheep, etc. Majority of the ruminants, in fact all animals, the majority of the animals, they actually breastfeed, so they produce milk. Now this particular product that we're talking about, the raw milk or the fresh milk, is being extracted from the udder of the mature female. The milk is extracted from the udder of the mature female. It is being extracted from the udder of the mature female. It is extracted using a particular instrument called the milking machine. Using an important instrument called the milking machine. The milking machine. That is the name of the instrument that is used in extracting the milk from the udder of the female organism or the female cow. Now, some of the animals are reared specifically for this. We have some animals that are specifically bred for their milk. Yes, and the milk is rich in protein as well as it having high amount of calcium. The fresh milk is rich in protein as well as in calcium. These two nutrients are highly sufficient in this particular specimen. It is processed into, yes, this milk, the fresh milk can be processed. Fresh milk can be processed into the following. We processed into cheese. We could have it processed into yogurt. Three, we have milk, processed milk. Now, you could be asked that is it advisable, is it hygienic to take raw milk? No, it is not advisable to take raw milk, because milk that has not been pasteurized could contain disease causing pathogens, so it is not nice to consume them. Milk that has not been pasteurized could contain disease causing pathogens. Disease causing pathogens. Hence, it is not safe for consumption. So we should try as much as possible to desist from it, from taking raw milk. It is hygienic when it has been processed, but it is not advisable to take it in that raw form. So let us look at some pictures of what we are talking about. You can see this here. This is an example of a mature cow with the udder. You can see the udder here. All of these cows here, they are reared specifically for their milk production. Now, look at this picture. We can see this here. This particular instrument that is being handled here, this particular instrument is what we refer to as the milking machine. It is with this now that the udder is being milked, that the udder is being extracted, the milk in the udder is being extracted. So it is called the milking machine. So it is actually being operated. It is being attached to the teeth of the udder, and then it extracts the milk. So that is basically what the milk is about. So you can see freshly procured milk. You can see it here. So that is basically what the fresh milk is talking about. So we'll move to the next specimen, which is specimen C. specimen C, and that happens to be the cattle, tail of a cattle. Tail of the cattle. You could also see it coming in a different name. It could also be called the oxtail, also known as oxtail. Yes. Now, this particular thing is the bushy tip of the cow. Let me put it this way. The cattle, like every other vertebrate, has the caudal bones. Caudal bones on the vertebral column that makes up the tail. For the cattle, it has about 18 to 20 sets of caudal bones. The cattle, it has approximately 20 sets of caudal bones. That's approximately 20 sets of caudal bones. Now, the bushy tip of the cow's tail is called the switch. If you look at the tail, it has a very hairy tail, or the hairy end. That part is what I'm talking about. The bushy tip of a cow's tail is called the switch. That is basically what you call that particular substance. The hairy part, the bushy part of that tail end is called the switch. Now, moving further. Now, the essence of this cattle having the tail, particularly the switch, is for them to swat flies or to chase away flies in the summer period when the cow cannot touch its back. So it makes use of its tail to actually swat off or to chase away flies and other insects from perching on its back or on its flanks. That is the essence. The tail is specifically used swatting, chasing away of flies and other insects from perching on the back of the cattle. So it is a very important body part to the cattle. The tail is a very important body part to the cattle. Looking at this now, we'll be able to understand what we are talking about. So this part here is what I'm talking about. This is the tail. So this part here is what I refer to as the switch. So it makes use of this to actually swerve on the back to chase away or to chase off insects and flies that are perching on the back. That is basically what it is. You can see how it is swerving it. You can see that is what it is doing here as well. So that is how they operate. You can see this particular cattle now swerving its tail so high to the back that it can use it to actually fend off some animals from encroaching on its back. So that is basically what our specimen C is about. and then we move to the next specimen, which is specimen D. Specimen D, and that happens to be the elephant grass. The elephant grass, that is our next specimen. So let's pick the elephant grass. Let's start talking about its classification. So looking at its classification, we have it to belong to the kingdom Plantae. The phylum there, we have it to be the Trachyphyta. We have the class to be the Angiosperma. We have the order to be Poales. We have the family to be the Poaceae. We have the genus. So I'll talk about two different naming system here. We have the Cenchrus. Let me put that here. For Cenchrus, we have it to be Purpureus. And if you are calling it this one, Penicetum purpureum. So whichever one you want to name it. So example, if you want to call it this one here, it is going to be called Cenchrus purpureus. And if it is the second one that you want to use, it is going to be called the Penicetum purpureum. That is how you will name them. So the Cenchrus purpureus or the Penicetum purpureum. So either of these two is what we call the elephant grass. So what is the elephant grass? The elephant grass is a robust rhizomatous perennial grass. The elephant grass is a robust rhizomatous also perennial grass. So robust here means it is usually cultivated to be a big plant. It is a weed though, but it is cultivated to be a big weed, and then it has its own rhizomes, and then it is cultivated as it is a perennial crop. So we have it. It is very extensive in its root system. It has very extensive root system. It has very extensive root system, and it is cultivated as tropical grass. Usually cultivated as tropical grass. That is how we cultivate this particular organism. It is a very important forage due to its large productivity. It is an important forage because of its productivity as animal feed, because of its productivity as animal feed. Now, it is used for feeding cattle as animal feed for cattle. It is used for feeding cattle, buffaloes, even the elephant, and that is how it came about its name, the elephant grass. Even the elephant eats this particular plant. It can also be used in making silage, hay, as well as pasture. It is used in making pasture, hay, and silage. It is used in making all of this pasture, hay, as well as it being used for silage. And it is best used, it is best served to the animals fresh. So it is best served to the animal fresh. So that is basically what this particular specimen is talking about, our specimen D. So this is what our specimen D looks like. You can see the elephant grass. So that is basically how it looks. That is the flower. You can see it. So basically that is how the elephant grass looks. You can see how it looks here. So that is the elephant grass. So immediately we move to the next specimen, specimen E, which is the feeding trough. That is our specimen E. Feeding troughs are containers that are designed to actually make feeding easier for the animals. These are containers that are designed, they come in different sizes, different shapes, and different materials in making them, and they are specifically used in constructing constructing containers that are used to feed animals. So different animals have different types of feeders, and that is basically what our specimen E is talking about, the feeding trough. These are containers constructed specifically to make feeding of animals stress-free. They could be made from, we have some of them made of wood. From wood, we have those made of steel, we have those made of plastics, even concrete. Some are made of even the concrete. Now, the essence of using this particular feeding trough is to make your environment clean. So feeding trough keeps, so that is an advantage of this particular specimen. The advantage is, these are the things that we are listing now. It keeps the passage clean at all times and clear. It also keeps food of the animal clean and within reach. It also, the animal feed clean clean and within reach. Yes, it makes the food accessible for them. Now, like I said earlier on, it could be made of any of these four materials that we made mention of earlier on. Could be wood, could be steel, it could be plastic, it could also be concrete. Now, they are usually tough and durable. These materials are usually tough. Materials used in constructing feeding troughs are usually strong, tough, and durable to last long. They use very strong materials and they are quicker and more convenient for feeding. Okay, let me put that here. They are quicker and more convenient for feeding. They are quicker and more convenient for feeding. If you look at them, you actually oftentimes see animals like the ruminants, the poultry birds being fed with this particular specimen, the feeding trough. So animals that use them, basically we have the ruminants, we have them being used as well in the poultry. I'll show us examples shortly. And they are of different types. We have different types. We could have them to be hanging trough. It could be hanging trough. It could be hay feeder. It could also be mineral feeders. Etc. So we have them in different types, different sizes. So let's see some examples. This is an example of a wooden feeding trough. You can see it is wooden in nature. So that's basically what we are talking about here. So you can see how it looks here. So that is an example of a wooden feeding trough. So this is another example. This one is made of plastic and metal. You can see this is another example. We have this one here now. This is another example. You can see this one is used in the poultry, while this one here is used by the ruminants. You understand that? That is what we are talking about. So quickly we move over to the next specimen, which is specimen F. Specimen F, and we said it is a coconut meal. That is what we want to use for our specimen F. So we'll quickly look at a couple of things about this specimen. So we'll be starting with talking about the classifications. The kingdom, it belongs to the Plantae, and then we have the phylum to be the Trachyphyta, we have the class to be Angiosperma. We have the order now. We have the order to be the Arachals. The Arachales. We have the family to be the Arachaceae. The Arachaceae. We have the genus to be the Cocos. And the species is what we refer to as the Nucifera. The Nucifera. So that is the classification of this particular organism. Now, the coconut meal is an essential protein supplement that is fed to the livestock in many tropical countries or continents. Coconut milk is an essential protein supplement that is added to the feeds of livestock in many countries. Now, this particular meal is claimed to increase the milk fat content of the animals, particularly in the dairy product. In dairy animals, that is, animals that actually produce milk, coconut meal increases the milk fat content. It increases the milk fat content. So when you feed this particular substance to your dairy animals, it gives them the ability to produce milk that is rich in fat. Coconut milk provides acceptable and very useful protein supplement, like I said earlier on. This meal is also called, okay, that's another thing. The meal is also called copra. Yes, let me put that here. Also known as copra. That is what it is being called in some environments. It is being called copra. And lest I forget, the scientific name or the botanical name is going to be the Cocos nucifera. Cocos nucifera is going to be the scientific name of this particular species. So it is also called copra, like I just made mention of, and it is the particular substance is gotten from the leftover of the coconut extract after the oil has been extracted from the coconut. That is from the endosperm of the fruit itself. That is when we have the coconut meal. Let me put that here. The coconut meal is gotten from the leftover of the oil after the oil has been extracted. After the oil has been extracted, that is basically how we get the coconut meal. So the let me not call it the shaft, but the remnant of the leftover, what is left after the oil has been extracted from the endosperm is actually what makes up the coconut meal. This particular substance contains about 75% total digestible nutrients. It contains about 75% total digestible nutrients. The TDN. Yes, and that is the sum of the digestible fiber. The TDN is, okay, which is the sum of the digestible fiber the protein, digestible fiber, protein, lipid, and carbohydrate components. That is how we get the total digestible nutrients. So all of these are gotten from this food, and it is useful for beef cow rations that are primarily forage. It is useful, yeah, that is basically one of the uses here. It is primarily used as feed or fodder for livestock. So like I said earlier on, animals that are fed with this particular substance, they get to produce high milk fat content, high fatty milk content. That is what they get to produce. So it is very very nutritious, and it supplies them with enormous amounts of proteinous supplements that is in their diet. So looking at some pictures now, we have this as example of the pictures. Now this particular part, the white part of the coconut, is what is being used for this particular substance. So the oil is extracted. We extract the oil from the coconut, and then the leftover is what makes this powder here, that is actually the coconut milk. Now it could come in different forms. You can see it here also. You can see it. People actually mill it. You can see it. This is actually what it looks like also. So that is basically what the coconut meal is looking like. And immediately we move to the next specimen, which is our specimen G. Our specimen G, and specimen G is the liver fluke. Specimen G is liver fluke. So what is the liver fluke? Let us start with talking about its classification first, like we have always done. So classification now. Kingdom, it is an animalia. It is animalia. Phylum, it belongs to the Platyhelminthes. We have the class now to be Trematoda. Trematoda. We have the order. We have the order to be the Plagiochida. We have it to be Plagiochida. We have the family now to be the Fasciolidae. We have it to be Fasciolidae. We have the genus to be Fasciola. And then the species, we have it to be the Hepatica. Hepatica. So looking at its scientific name, it is going to be written as the Fasciola hepatica. That is what the scientific name will be, the Fasciola hepatica. So what is this flukeworm? What is this liver fluke rather? What is this liver fluke? Liver fluke is a flatworm. It is a Platyhelminthes, like we said earlier on. So it is a flatworm, and it is an endoparasite. Liver fluke is a flatworm endoparasite, meaning it survives inside a host. It is a flatworm endoparasite that causes liver rot, which causes liver rot. It affects the liver. You oftentimes find it in the liver. It is found in the bile ducts. It is found in the bile ducts of sheep, cattle, goats, buffalo, etc. These are the organisms that actually possess this substance, and man inclusive. Even humans usually have infestation of this particular parasite. These parasites are found around water bodies. Yes, usually found around water bodies like rivers, streams, ponds. Those are environments that you actually see this particular organism. Now, it is in these water bodies that they lay their eggs. They actually lay their eggs in the water bodies. They lay their eggs in the waters. They lay their eggs in the waters. Now let us look at the description of this particular organism. The mouth is situated ventrally at the anterior end and is surrounded by oral suckers. It is with these suckers that it actually carries out its destructive functions. So the mouth is at the anterior end, surrounded by oral suckers. Surrounded by oral suckers. So it is with these suckers that it actually attaches itself to its host, and then it carries out its destructive functions. And then the digestive system comprises of the esophagus. Its digestive system comprises the esophagus. It has the esophagus, it has the pharynx, and the intestine. These are the parts of the digestive system of this particular organism, the liver fluke. Now, we have talked about that. Let us quickly look at some of the things that this particular substance will cause. Okay, some characteristics of it. Number one, it is an hermaphrodite. The liver fluke is an hermaphrodite. So that means it possesses both the male and the female reproductive parts. So they are hermaphrodites. Liver fluke is hermaphrodite, and then the eggs pass to the exterior through the median genital pore. So the eggs it lay pass through the median genital pore present between the ventral and the oral suckers. Now, major symptoms that are experienced from the infection of this particular parasite. Major symptoms now. Major symptoms include, there are so many, I'll just list a few of them. We have fever, we have sweating, we have weight loss, we have abdominal pain, we have anemia, we even have fleeting rash, fleeting rash, diarrhea, vomiting, nausea, vomiting, amongst others. So these are some of the things that this particular parasite can do to its host. So it is oftentimes found in water bodies. It is in the water bodies that it lays its eggs. So this is an example of what the liver fluke looks like. This is the picture of the liver fluke. You can see the name, the fasciola. So this is an example of what the liver fluke looks like. You can see the name here, the fasciola hepatica. That is what it is being called. That is the scientific name. So we can see the mouth at this part here. We can see the mouth here. You can see the mouth here, and around it is where we have the sucker. Let me try to enlarge it so we understand what we are saying properly. So we can see the mouth part here. We can see the mouth part, and around it is where we have the suckers, and then it has the genital opening here, and that is the part of the head where it has the ventral sucker, and then the body. Looking at the body now, then it has its exterior pore here through which it eliminates its waste. So basically that is what this particular organism looks like. Let's see other pictures. We can see it, the organism itself. We can see how it looks. So looking at it now, this is the mouth part here, and this is the genital the genital part that we made mention of earlier on. So that is what this particular organism look like. This is another picture. You can see it. You can see the genital opening like I showed us in this previous one here. This particular part here. This one here is what I refer to as this part here that I'm putting the pointer on. Here is where we have the genital opening, and this is the head totally, and then we have the mouth part around where we have the suckers. You can see it. This is the head, and then we have the suckers around it. So that is basically what this particular organism looks like. So immediately we move over to the next specimen now, which is going to be our specimen H. Specimen H, and that is the tapeworm. Tapeworm, that is our specimen H. So quickly let us see what tapeworm is about. Let's start with classification of this particular specimen. So looking at the classification now, kingdom, it belongs to the kingdom Animalia. The phylum, it belongs to the Platyhelminthes. Then we have the class to be the Cestoda. We have the order now to be the Cyclophilidae. We have the family to be the Ctenidae. We have the genus now to be Taenia. And we have the species to be the Solium. So that is the classification that we have for this particular organism. Now, this particular organism is an endoparasite. So okay, before I go to that, looking at the scientific name now, the zoological name, we'll be having it to be the Taenia solium. That is going to be the scientific name, the Taenia solium. So don't forget, when you're writing scientific name, don't underline them. You don't join the underline when you write the scientific name, and the first letter of the name is going to start with capital letter, while every other thing will be in small letter, and then you don't join the underline. Taenia has its own, the genus will have its own underline, while the species will have its own underline. That is how it is being done. Now, like I said earlier on, the tapeworm or the Taenia solium by description looks like a tape, so to say. It looks like a tape. It is an endoparasite because it is found inside its host. It is an endoparasite primarily of man and of pig. It is majorly found in man and then secondarily in the pigs. Their body consists of many similar units known as the proglottids. The body consists of many similar units we call them the proglottids. Called the proglottids. Yes, that is basically what we call them. They are called the proglottids. The body parts, they are called the proglottids. Now, tapeworm, like I said, they are usually flat and they have segmented bodies, and they are yes, that is how they look. Although the adult tapeworm is in the intestine, they usually cause symptoms of abdominal discomfort. Although adult tapeworm is usually found in the intestine, they oftentimes cause abdominal discomfort. So you should try as much as possible to try to prevent them. Discomfort, it could also cause diarrhea and so many other symptoms like weight loss. Now the part of the tapeworm, when we look at, okay, let me just put that here. Parts of the tapeworm. Parts of the tapeworm. Number one, it has the head. And the head is attached to the intestine, which is attached to the intestines. Number two, we have the neck. Which regenerates. It regenerates many times. And we have the third one there, which is the body. That's the rest of the worm. The rest of the worm, which consists of many segments. Consisting of many segments. And it is all of these parts that are called the proglottids. Like I said earlier on, they are usually found primarily in humans and then secondarily in the pigs. So that is about the taenia solium, that is the tapeworm. This is what the picture looks like. You can see this here. So this is what the tapeworm look like. You can see it. So this is the head. You can see the head here, and close to the head there we have the suckers with which it attaches itself to the intestine of its host. And here we have the neck. It is here that we have the neck, and it can actually regenerate. And then we have other parts of the body. You can see how it looks. It is segmented and it is tape like. Let me show us other pictures. You can see how it looks here. it is segmented and it is tape-like. So this is how the typical diagram look. You can see it here now. So this is the head here, and on the head you can see the hook and the suckers. So it is with this hook and the sucker now that it attaches itself to the intestinal lining of the host. It attaches itself with this hook and suckers to the intestinal lining of the host. So basically that is what the tapeworm looks like, or that is what the tapeworm is about. Talking about all of the specimens that we have discussed so far, I believe we have been able to get one or two things in preparation for our exam. I wish you all success in everything we do. I'll plead with you to try as much as possible to go over everything that has been discussed, and try as much as possible to familiarize yourself with the specimens like we have said. Check them out, know their uses, know their characteristics, and everything that comes to your mind about them. I wish you success in your exams. For those of us that have subscribed to our channel, thanks very much. We really appreciate you. Don't stop sharing our videos. Don't stop liking our videos. Do that so we can reach out to more people. And for those of us that are new to our channel, or you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please kindly do so. Subscribing to the channel is going to give you a whole lot of benefits, because you get easily notified of subsequent uploads when we put them up on our channel. We want to hear from you, so don't hesitate to send us that question or that comment in our comment section. Like our content, share them with your friends, let them also benefit from what you are getting. We really appreciate you and wish you success in your exam. Thanks and bye for now.